Welcome to Music Plus Gamecast, home of original music and gaming discussion. There is a metric ton of information that is coming out later on today. One of which is going to be Horizon Forbidden West, which is, if you follow this channel, that's all I ever fucking play every day, all day. I don't know why. I have no idea. I like the way it plays, I like the way it feels. But this game in particular is actually near and dear to me and a lot of other people. There were a lot of people that actually liked this game. It got mediocre reviews. I'm not sure if people were expecting it to be like some kind of story-driven situation where, you know, it just wasn't really. It was really gameplay focused, and the story just kind of moved along with the gameplay. It was all about the parkour, as you can see, of it all. It was all about upgrading your character. It was all about the melee system. The actual gunplay wasn't a big factor within it. Day and night cycles. You can have 4-player co-op. People didn't like the fact that it just cloned your character, but it was all in the sake of gameplay. So obviously, it started off rough in terms of reception. I think it ended up getting a C on Metacritic, let's put it that way, or a 70. And people said, fuck that Metacritic. I don't give a flying fuck what the hell that shit is. I enjoyed it. I was one of the people who enjoyed it as well. I was super tired of zombie games. I was really tired. And this actually made me really just have a higher standards with zombie games in general. This is an open world parkour, day and night cycle, quest driven. I mean, it's deep. Almost all of the interiors you can go into. It has a crafting system. It has a looting system. I mean, there's so many things that this game has, right? And by the way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel if you just actually ran across this video. And if you ran across it on Twitter, don't forget to retweet it and follow Twitter. But anyway, going back to what I was saying before. So a lot of people say, fuck it, I'm going to play this game. And they liked it and they enjoyed it. It was a really cool game to play with their friends. It was just very meaty in terms of the gameplay, big environments. And then they came up with like a DLC that was super meaty as well. It changed the dynamics up. So it moved away from parkour and it actually moved towards vehicular combat and things of that nature. Really, really good stuff. So obviously a sequel was going to be at play, but they've covered so much gameplay wise. What else could they have done? And this is going to be a point of topic with this whole video making, because honestly, when it comes to sequels, it's like you look at what you've done right, you look at what you've done wrong, and you try to improve, and then add some more stuff. But Techland has had their fair share of, you know, refinement of their gameplay. It all started with Dead Island, which had its own, like, you know, particular issues and stuff like that. But they pulled it together, and their refinement and final result is the Dying Light game. But what else can you fucking do? They just covered everything. So really, story was a really big thing, which leads me into why we haven't heard from Techland and Dying Light 2 up until really a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I believe. And it turns out that they had some internal issues with a writer that was involved in the Me Too movie. Let's just say that, because I don't know how YouTube is going to look at this shit. Either way, they had to get a new writer, and then they went into hiding for like a year and a half. So no one knew what the hell was going on. But what was understood, and I believe they shrunk the level down too. When this first came out, they said that this game was, and this is a big fucking game, by the way, especially with the whole parkour and verticality of it. They said it was 4 times bigger than this and the DLC. And when the recent video came out, they said it's only 2 times bigger. Now, I'm not sure what happened, but I'm sure they had to do what they had to do. Even if it's 2 times bigger, it's still a better fucking, it's still large. You know what I'm saying? They said verticality is going to be a really big part of Dying Light 2. They also said that the gunplay is going to be, it's because they found out when they made this game, they're like, you know what? We want to focus on our strengths, and that was the melee. So they did the melee. They refined that. So human interactions and stuff like that, they refined it. verticality and parkour is more refined. Obviously, co-op is a really big thing. They haven't said too much about it, but co-op is a really big thing. Um, More vehicles. Um, this game, this is what I really liked about the game actually, is the time of day really affects the gameplay. It's just a really alive world. Fire propagates and stuff like that. But apparently they're ready to show what they've been working on for the past, so who knows how fucking long, from 2015 to now. And they're a small company. I didn't know that they were that small, and they're independent. So they've been like really cracking away at it. I cannot wait to see it. I mean, realistically, I don't know what else they could really add but a better story. That reveal trailer from about a year and a half ago, the story didn't look that compelling, but obviously, who gives a fuck? Apparently, the quest, the NPCs, they really can impact you depending on how you treat them. But we'll see. I cannot wait. Let's go with the next subject. And now the star of the damn show, which is Horizon Forbidden West. Now, there's not too much to talk about when it comes to this game because we just do not know. Well, some things we do know. One of the things is that right after the DLC for the Frozen Wilds, they decided to make a PS4 game, which was the Forbidden West, right? And at some point, they decided, you know what? Let's move this over to the PS5, which explains why this is a cross-gen game. They probably had a lot of work with the engine itself. So there's that. People are really pissed off with the cross-gen aspect of the game because they want the PlayStation 5 to be utilized and not just faster loading times. They also don't want the gameplay to be affected by it, pretty much, right? So they did mention with the Decima engine streaming as an issue, and you can kind of tell. Now, obviously, depending on the technology, like whatever Sony's doing now, their games are smaller, so they're more compressed, which is really fucking cool. So whatever the hell they got going on, there's that. So maybe they improved it. Who knows? Maybe they improved it. I will say, when you look at Ghost of Tsushima, there was like a glitch that throws you up in the air. And there's a reason why I'm talking about you being thrown up in the air. You could see the entire level, from beginning to end. And we already know that game loads super fucking fast. So maybe they got some technology. Because one of the biggest things that they wanted to add is actually flying mounts. They said they weren't able to do it, and the mounts had to be a certain speed because of the streaming aspects of this particular engine. Did they improve upon it? Yes, I'm sure they have. Now, how would that impact the gameplay? I don't know. We're going to split this video, I will say, into expectations. Expectations and reality. So there are some things I do expect, because I know when I've looked at watched the documentary of this particular game, they were saying that the melee was really robust. They had to scale that backwards so they can incorporate the ranged attacks or ranged combat. So what do I expect from tomorrow's video? There's a 14-minute video of Forbidden West. And one of the things is the graphics, and Mark Cerny mentioned as well. Let me see how much time I have left. Okay, cool, halfway. Mark Cerny mentioned that, with the SSD and its new paradigm shift of how games are loading, that you don't have to be restrained to elevators and stuff like that, which this game had a massive elevator in the Meridian area. So, I mean, if they fix the streaming, that's interesting too. The cloud system was very heavy on the PlayStation 4. So maybe they have to take some things away or cheat some things. Who knows what the fuck they're going to do to make this work for cross-gen. I just hope it really looks good. So, expectations. What do I actually expect? What I really want to make this a full-on, sequel, right, would be obviously the flying mounts. We need to have the flying mounts. So that's really big. Flying mounts, you need to be able to climb shit, right? Like Zelda style. Like this, what you see right there, that's a no-go. Better melee. Better melee. I'm expecting that too. They mentioned underwater levels. Great, I'll add that in there. So that's a reality. Um, you need to have better AI when it comes to the townspeople. What I would definitely like as well is at certain times of the day you can only do certain things. She needs to have a home where she can put her stuff in. Also, different machines need to come out at different parts or times of day. A really robust, alive world. So that's what I'm expecting. Reality, I'm not gonna lie to you. The reality is, the only thing that we are going to get is a bigger world and flying mounts. I hate to sound pessimistic, but I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't know what they've been doing for the last 3 years, going on 4 years, but I'm just keeping it real with you. I don't want I want expectations to be tempered. Put it that way. Um, Sony, I mean, they're not a big studio, and they're working on other things as well. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? What we do know, they got underwater scenes, so they did add that in there. So it won't be just that. I don't know anything about the climbing, but we're gonna stick with the video and say that what we're gonna really find. So I wouldn't expect the climbing to be anything. I do know that flying mounts is something that they were looking into. I know that the melee combat was a big thing, so maybe we'll see something regarding the combat that's better. Um, I mean, what else can they really fucking add? I don't know. I don't know what they could add. I know people kind of complained about, the, what do you call it again? What do you call it? Bandit camps, which is in every fucking, it's in everything. So, I really don't know. Like, I don't know. The game is bigger, they said. It is bigger than the Horizon Zero Dawn. And I do know that when it comes to Forbidden West, there's some overlapping when it comes to the old game, the Horizon Zero Dawn, and then this game. So it's interesting to see what they are going to incorporate. I'm trying to keep my expectations low because on the for real, I don't want to be really disappointed. I'm kind of pissed off that Sony and Guerrilla Games really didn't push the envelope. I mean, I'm looking at the Last of Us, and they added some things in there, but I feel like they could have done more. I just don't expect too much because I feel like if they add too much, it will start to affect the quality of their narrative and gameplay. So I really do think they're going to play it safe. I do. I mean, either way, I'm here for it. It doesn't matter because I just want to see the graphics. Next subject. For some reason, Sony is going to upset a lot of people. A lot of people are upset about PlayStation success. And what I mean by that, let me clarify that because I didn't say that right. It's not necessarily PlayStation success. We got the Sony ponies, right? The hardcore fans of Sony, right? They don't want to see any PC games or PlayStation games on PC. And this is totally against what Sony is doing. Now, obviously, Sony has been monitoring exactly what is going on, be it trophies, how many people are logged in, or whatever the case is. So they wouldn't have wasted money on something like putting it on PC if it wasn't going to make the money. Now, there was some investor slides that they had earlier today, and to be quite frank, what did they end up doing? They said basically that Horizon made over 2 times the amount of their investment. So it may not be the biggest millions and millions of dollars, but it's definitely something that it's worth it to them. And the reason why they're putting things on PC is to increase the fandom of their IPs. They want people to be a fan of it. And there's some people that literally just refuse to buy a PlayStation, and that's cool. But people are kind of concerned. They're like, well, is this going to be day and date? You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of people that believe it's going to be day and date. And I've said this many times to you guys. Many times. There will not be a day and date. But there will be titles that are created for the PlayStation 5 PS4, and PC probably all together. That will definitely happen because what they're also looking into is to make free to play or games as a service. If you look at the statistics for games as a service in general for any company, video game company, it is by far like 70% of the money that they make. That's just what it is. The Fortnites and the Apex and things of that nature, that's what it is. Now, what I believe is going on here is a lot of people don't want to use reason. And I'm not thinking for the company, I'm thinking as the company, just to get an understanding as to what is happening. So, be that as it may, right? There's a couple things. PSN makes way too much fucking money. Way too much money for them to go PC day and date. They want people to stay within the ecosystem, but they also want to make extra money, and it may not seem like it's worth it to you, but it is a possibility that, well, first of all, when a game runs out of sales, like it dies down, they put it on PC. But it is also creating fans, and I've seen this on YouTube. You can look this up for people that have PC, and you can look at Days Gone. You know what I'm saying? PC players do not have these types of games, so they don't know. They have no idea how that works with us. So they have their own separate games, and this is what Sony is actually incorporating. Sony specifically has a certain quality, and making these AAA games, they're like fucking $300-400 million to make. It just would be impossible for them to continue that quality, and then people would be all, extra pissed off with them that they're not, what I'm saying, that they're not really catering or keeping up that quality. It's just what it is. They have to make their money. It's a company. So I did see in this investors slide show that they had going on that looks like Miles Morales and Forbidden West looks like it's going to be on some sort of streaming. And what I think they're going to do, not on PlayStation now, but I think what they're going to end up doing is allowing you to try out the game directly off of PSN using the streaming. I think that's what they're going to do. Because they did mention that. Overall, Sony is doing very nice. Expect, like Jim Ryan said, he was deadly serious when he said the shit that he said. There will be more PlayStation games to go on to PC, like Uncharted, that's going to come out. Be prepared for that shit. So if you're fanboying, you better stop it. But just know that they're not going to do a day and date because PSN on the PlayStation 5 makes them too much money, and they'll never get that people.